guess I know what I'll be doing this afternoon. Oil change. Well, I don't claim to be a mechanic, but I am capable of changing my own oil. This is an early model 4th gen Ram with the Cummins 6.7. You may have your ways of doing it, but this is how I do it. I always start with removing the oil filler cap. Let me use this bottle of water for an example. Let's say if I remove the oil filler cap and then I remove the drain plug, that oil is going to run out real fast. And if I don't remove my oil filler cap, the oil comes out more like this. It'll eventually get there. It's just a little bit slower. So the drain plug on my truck will accept a 3/8 inch drive off your ratchet. So I'm ready to go ahead and remove that drain plug with this 3/8 inch drive ratchet. Now before I take that all the way out, I got this 5-gallon bucket I'm going to slide under it and catch that oil. Hopefully I don't drop that drain plug in there. Yep, see, it's coming out real good. We'll let that drain for a few minutes and carry on with this. So the oil is almost done draining. Alright, so let's move this bucket out of the way. The oil is warm. The motor's been running. I believe it's going to run out of there faster if the oil's warm. Don't forget to put that drain plug back in there. Not that I've ever done it. Let's take that 3/8 inch drive and let's just snug it up a little bit. There we go. Oil's drained. Even with standard size tires and suspension, this broken 5-gallon bucket's still able to fit under there. Now I'm not done underneath the truck here. I still need to drop the oil filter. So I've come under from the front of the truck, and on the passenger side of the motor is the oil filter. It's the gray thing directly above me. Well, I may be wrong, but I do believe that on some years of the Ram trucks with the Cummins, you can actually get to that oil filter above the tire underneath the wheel well on the passenger side. But on this one, I don't think there's any way to get to it. I do see it up there, right there, but I don't think my fat hand will fit through there. So let's get back under there and drop that oil filter. May get a little oil running down to my elbow, but gloves are optional. Today I'll be using this Hyper Tough brand oil filter wrench that I picked up from Walmart at a really cheap price. I'm going to try to hold the camera with one hand and take that oil filter right there off with the other hand. Don't know how well this is going to work out. Alright, let me get this ratchet out of the way. I'll see if I can't finish unscrewing this by hand without giving myself an oil bath. Alright, it's loose. Just try to drop it straight down so it don't get oil everywhere. It's always a good day when you don't have oil running all the way down to your elbow. Now this used motor oil, it's going to get recycled. I'll either take it back to the parts house and they'll recycle it for me, or I'll use it to treat the wood on my utility trailer. Now my oil of choice is Valvoline 15W40. Heavy duty premium blue. Says it's endorsed and recommended by Cummins. That can't be all bad. Plus it's really convenient. You can get what you need, 3 gallons in one box. So I'm not too picky on my oil filters. Seems like I grab a different brand every 7,500 miles. So this time I picked up a MicroGuard Select oil filter. There's a part number down below if you're interested. Back toward the beginning of this video, I said this was an early model 4th gen Ram truck. It's 2500 with the Cummins 6.7, but I never said what year it was. Let's take another look at this, give you a clue as to what year it is. It was the last year produced by Ram on their Cummins diesels, before the diesel exhaust fluid was added to it. That's right, no DEF. What year is it? Leave me a comment down below. So this particular filter is covered in plastic. I don't know if it's necessary or not, but I'm going to prime that filter with oil before I install it. It'll eventually get filled with oil, but this way it'll get filled a lot faster. You know what everybody says, always rub a little bit of oil on that gasket. Let's get this thing put back in the truck. Now I'm going to reinstall this filter just the opposite of how I took it off. I'm going to hold it up to those threads and get it started. Then I'll use the oil filter wrench to snug it up. So there's where the filter goes. I need to get it screwed onto those little bitty threads up there. So let's try this one-handed again. Whoops. Alright, that's pretty much hand tight. I'm gonna grab that oil filter wrench and snug it up. You don't want to over tighten this thing. If you do, you may never get it back off. Now that the drain plug's reinstalled and the new oil filter's on, let's get this thing filled up with oil. It holds 3 gallons, 12 quarts. The old Ford Power Stroke I owned prior to this, it held 15 quarts. go ahead and reinstall that oil filler cap before I forget. Let's go ahead and fire it up, and then we'll crawl back down under there and check for leaks. Hopefully we ain't got none. That's always a good sign when nothing's leaking out from the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and check this dipstick real quick. All right, I think we're good for another 7,500 miles. I'm going to go ahead and return this used motor oil back to the original containers. As I mentioned earlier, I'll either return it back to the parts house or I'll use it to treat the wood on my utility trailer. This stuff wasn't that black when I put it in. That's how I change the oil and filter on my Cummins 6.7. If you do it yours a little bit different, feel free to let me know down below how you do it. The last step is to reset the truck so the oil change do light don't come on. To reset that change oil light on this here truck, simply turn the ignition to the on position without starting it. Depress the gas pedal 3 times within 10 seconds. And then turn the ignition back off. Now when I turn that key to the auto position, that light should not be there. No messages. I think we're good. Well, I've still got to change the air filter, the fuel filter, and it's almost due for a crankcase ventilation filter, so I'm going to change that as well. So if you're interested in watching any of that content, be sure to hit that subscribe button down there in that bottom right hand corner. That way you'll be notified next time I post a video. Now, just so I can say that this is a homesteading video, I'm going to show a little bit of my chickens. Well, I appreciate y'all watching this afternoon, and I'll catch y'all next time here at the Little Do Homestead. Have a good evening, everybody. Since I work on my vehicles out in the yard, underneath these shade trees, does that make me a shade tree mechanic?